everyone, and welcome back to another collector's discussion. Today we have the final release of pre-order for the InArt / Queen Studios Pennywise from IT Chapter 1, and I'm pretty sure it is from Chapter 1. I would explain a bit more why. Overall, I'm a massive horror fan, so automatically I might get this down the line. I have the Hot Toys one behind me. You can't see it. I've actually got two. I have some harsh opinions on that release. You know, if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave the link in the description and all that. But overall, I think the big question is this worthy to buy if you have the Hot Toys version? And I think that's a good discussion to have as well. Overall, it looks pretty good, and obviously we'll get into the photos and all that. I'm not going to run the pre-order this though. I'm actually probably going to wait when it actually releases, and then I might pick it up. And I think that's how I'm going to go on with InArt's stuff for now. And that's pretty much what I do with Hot Toys, where the Hot Toys I do buy, which is still a small amount, I buy once they release. I don't hold a pre-order or pay in full. I buy it once it's released. The Joker from InArt was the only exception for a pre-order, in my opinion. Mostly because they kind of done a bit of a shady operation going on where they said it was limited for 3 days. So that's why I hopped on the pre-order for that one. But then it turns out that they put it up on order for maybe a couple extra days, which whatever, I don't care about that. But in regards of 1/6 scale collecting, I'm not going to pre-order, and probably with this I'm not going to as well. But anyway, without me rambling anymore, if you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. I'll bring the pictures up now and we'll get right into it. So we got the photos here, and overall I'm pretty impressed actually. This photo doesn't really show much, and this really looks similar to the expression the Hot Toys version has. But going through the rest of the photos quickly, I think yesterday it dropped. There is some differences in the face that have made me happy in comparison to the Hot Toys one. For example, I might as well just go through them. So this is one here. And what I really love about this version so far is the elongated head. So pretty much right here. The Hot Toys one doesn't really have that. And the Hot Toys one is much more slimmer. And this version of Pennywise kind of had like, I called it like the Megamind head, where it had a massive forehead like this, a really alienated head. And going by this prototype, they've pretty much nailed the head shape and look. The hair is rooted, and that's actually really nice, to be honest. Again, because we haven't gotten any of these products yet in hand, I don't know how this will turn out when it's shipped to us. So I don't know how they're going to package this to have this really gelled up hair. So yeah, that would be interesting to see if maybe we have to style that ourselves. Maybe InArt throw like a 1/6 scale comb to comb it out or something. But it looks really, really good, I would have probably preferred a different expression, because this looks pretty similar to the Hot Toys version. And again, I can't really complain as well, because it's like, well, you either pick or choose which one you want, It's not like InArt are going to shake hands with Hot Toys and say, oh, you're releasing this head sculpt, so we're going to release another one. Like, obviously this is a pretty significant look that Pennywise pulled throughout the whole movie. So InArt are naturally just going to do that without necessarily caring what Hot Toys have already done. So we go a bit down from the head to one of the complaints I had with the Hot Toys version was the actual puffy collar part right here. The biggest complaint I had, and a lot of people had, was this was too pulled down in the Hot Toys version, and it exposed way too much of the neck. So you had to physically cut the stitching and pad it out. And that's really disappointing as well from Hot Toys, because it's like we had to somewhat damage and take stitching off to make it more accurate. Some people don't like doing that to figures and messing with what's being created. Some people are more venturous like me, and some other people that will customize stuff. Personally though, with my Hot Toys Pennywise, I held out on customizing both of them because I knew this one was coming, and I wanted to see how this turned out. So the collar looks fine here. What else I found, which is more accurate represented here than the Hot Toys version, is something as simple as the padding in the shoulders and the biceps. The Hot Toys one kind of lacked in the part here that I'm showing. And I want to see in other pictures, is there a red band where my mouse is under here? Because there should be 3 bands on the arm. There should be one here where the shoulder is. There should be one here on the upper portion of the bicep. And there also should be another one here, which Hot Toys missed. And these textures here should be the same, which the Hot Toys one wasn't. It wasn't as fluffy padded on the bicep here like it should be on the shoulder for the Hot Toys version. And again, that was a bit of a disappointment. And I know a lot of people aren't massive horror fans and don't really care about this much of attention of detail. So when they see the Hot Toys one, it's like what I said with my review. They look at the product of that Hot Toys version on face value, and because they're not that invested into the character, they just see it as, oh, it's Pennywise, you know, it's a very iconic look. But when you get people like me who love costuming and love horror movies and look at every single miniature detail, you know, I done the review and the unboxing on that, and it was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh shit, they screwed up on some parts. But this one looks really, really good. Like, the weathering looks pretty good from here. To be fair though, the weathering on the Hot Toys version looked good on the promo shots as well, the prototypes. Hot Toys actually scaled down and didn't give us any weathering, so hopefully InArt don't do that as well. And also, for speaking what I said before about hardcore horror fans and knowing the costuming and the differences, this is from chapter 1, while Hot Toys is from chapter 2. And that also might justify some people getting both Hot Toys and this version, because there are some parts that are similar, but there are differences. And I think the main difference on the suit is the buttons here, the red buttons. From the version Hot Toys brought to us was part 2. And part 2, the buttons are actually on the chest piece, torso piece, I would say. So there was a button here, and there should be a button here for part 2, which Hot Toys done right. This is from It Chapter 1, where the button is on the actual belt. So for people like me who are hardcore horror fans and do see these differences, I could justify people buying this version and the Hot Toys version, so you can have a, you know, part 1 and part 2 on display. And obviously going down here, it's nice and all creased, and you know, it's disgusting. This creature's crawling around in the sewers, so it's going to look like this naturally. And obviously you got more weathering down here. The boots are much more weathered here than then yeah, they're way more weathered than the Hot Toys version. The Hot Toys boots are pretty much pristine white, while this is like a dirty brown, yellowish kind of. So I like that they've done this. So we go to the next part, and this is obviously the stage that Pennywise does that, you know, the meme dance that everyone's kind of memed. It looks really, really nice. Apparently this was real wood and velvet, and I think they've also thrown some die cast here and there. I have no idea what materials is what just yet. But this looks really, really nice. Like, I can't see anyone complaining about this base. Yeah, this is really nice. So you got obviously the Pennywise the Dancing Clown here. Very Victorian era, I would say. You know, obviously the suit was based on Victorian era. Very Lovecraft, you can say. So this stage here is representing of that time frame as well, I guess. So obviously you got the boat here, which I don't know if it's paper. I kind of would prefer if it's maybe not paper, because paper's just naturally going to crease and bow, and depending on if you've got rough hands and that, it might crease up and tear. I think the Hot Toys one with the sculpted plastic was fine, but again, it's accurate to the movie. But you can just see the really disgusting look of this suit and the weathering. It's top notch. Like, I can't complain. Yeah, the Hot Toys one is basically a clean version of this. And looking at this head sculpt here, it's pretty good. Like, the forehead is massive, and that's also something I had negative with the Hot Toys, just slightly, is it was a bit underscaled compared to what this one is looking like so far. Also, the cracks in the forehead, the deterioration and weathering around here looks really, really nice. The face paint looks pretty top notch too. The teeth look a bit more high definition and glossy compared to the Hot Toys one. It looks almost yellowed as well. That's really nice. Does this have movable eyes? Because so far from what I've seen from the previous InArt pre-orders and teasing is, I think all of their figures have rolly eyes, and that would be really, really nice if this has it, because you can get the cross-eyed look that obviously Skarsgård was known to do. Obviously got the back here. Again, it's similar design to the Hot Toys. It's the same suit, so you're not going to expect anything drastic. Aside from the weathering, like, again, it's really, really disgusting and dirty here. It's really creased and crumpled. It looks like this entity has crawled into the sewers, you know. Compared to the Hot Toys one, where it looks like it just got dry cleaned and washed. It looks too pristine. And this looks really, really good. Like, man, yeah, I'm gonna have to pick this up and do a comparison. I'm too much of a horror fan to pass this up. And this head sculpt is insane. Like, I would actually say, if you're a hardcore horror fan and love this movie, the two sequels that came out, I would honestly say just get the Hot Toys one and get this one. Because you can have this head sculpt displayed like this, and with the Hot Toys one, you've got those two head sculpts. You can either interchange them in the sewer base or on the actual body itself. So it's almost like a win-win situation if you have both, because they're all different head sculpts, and this just looks really, really sinister. It looks good. I hope there's a more zoomed in picture just to see the real disgusting teeth and all that. The hair is really nice too. Obviously there is differences with the hair from this one. This one's more gelled out. Again, this one might be an issue when it comes to shipping to us, depending where you're in the world. I would like to know that the process of how they're going to ship stuff. Like, hair like this is fine, because this is similar to Heath Ledger's Joker, where it's just naturally, it's crazy hair, but it's naturally falling down to its shoulders. So if this comes a little bit messy from shipping to us, just like the Joker that they're making, you can kind of fix this one. Compared to the other one with the really gelled up hair, that might be a bit of an issue. That's a nice touch. We get the werewolf hand as well. That almost looks fabric. I want to see more zoomed in. Let me go back to the Georgie's boat. It's out of focus. I think it's sculpted though. It's just here it looked pretty fluffy, like it was fabric. Yeah, this is insane. I'm too much of a horror fan to not get this. But I do think it's a bit disappointing that this was InArt's first horror figure. I personally would have probably preferred a Freddy Krueger. Mostly from the first movie. Or any other horror character, to be honest, because it is a bit of a cop-out where two horror figures we've gotten in the recent years by 1/6 scale companies are Pennywise. Yes, they're from different movies, and yes, there are differences in this suit and the Hot Toys one with the buttons. But I would have loved... Also, they should have given us a Tim Curry Pennywise. Like, I think that would have been maybe a bit more of a smart move on InArt. Where, yeah, Hot Toys has Skarsgård's version, but we're going to make Tim Curry's version now. Hopefully they make that, because I would hop on that as well. But yeah, this base is insane. The real wood, velvet, I'm pretty sure they said this was real velvet, not, the Hot Toys mock velvet, like their DX19 that just came out. That was supposed to be a velvet cape. They still didn't give us velvet. Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure they are movable eyes. Because are the eyes cockeyed here? No. The eyes aren't cockeyed here, so they're movable rolly eyes. And this is something that Hot Toys kind of missed out on as well with their other head sculpt, is they slightly cockeyed the eyes on that figure where it's just passable. But this is how it should look in the movie. And yeah, this is really, really good. Those teeth are insane. The hair looks really, really nice too. Obviously, this is probably the money maker here. This is where you're paying that big price tag, is this hair. Especially with that other one, with the gelled up style. And I honestly... Look, honestly, Hot Toy collectors and 1/6 scale collectors that are used to stock figures, I would say, aren't going to understand this big price jump. While I've kind of been around here and there when it comes to custom stuff and custom work, like I've known one's customs and one's work, Bale Metalli's work as well. They do a lot of horror 1/6 scale stuff, custom stuff. So they're custom hand painting, they're custom molding by their hands, they're rooting stuff in the hair themselves, they're stitching fabric and tailoring themselves. Those figures are price range to like 1 to 2K, which sounds insane, but it's like you're getting 10 out of 10 perfection, 100% perfection. And I think this is where InArt is trying to base their market on, where it's like, hey, instead of paying 2,000 for a 10 out of 10 figure, you can get ours for 700 AUD, I think it is. which is, I think, 500 US. Again, Australia here is shit with prices, but it is what it is. So you got kind of a weird pose here. I don't really get what's going on here. Also, the magnetized arms. I think they passed it on to this as well. Obviously, the Joker and the Gandalf have that too. I think that's another thing that they've elevated, I guess, in comparison to Hot Toys. I think the boots are magnetized as well. They go on that wooden base. And hopefully there's another shot of the wooden base. Maybe later down, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, this looks really, really good. Also, I think looking at the balloon here and looking at the one that Hot Toys brought out, why have none of them done the I Love Dairy print that should be on the balloon? That's quite interesting that both companies have missed that detail. The red balloon should say I Love Dairy, and it was pretty iconic. Like, the balloon pretty much zoomed up right in front of the screen saying that. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Like, I can't really complain. It's just showing off the posability, which again, the Hot Toys one was really, really good with posability. So I would expect this one to be pretty good with that as well. Also, what else I find interesting with InArt is, so far InArt have only shown figures that are fabric suits. So we've got the Gandalf on pre-order, which is a fabric cloak. We've gotten the Heath Ledger Joker, which again is a fabric suit. And we've gotten this, which is a fabric Victorian era suit. And I want to see what InArt can do with their Batman figure they're releasing, and both Batmans, so Christian Bale's and Robert Pattinson. Also, they're making an Affleck Batman, and from what we've seen, InArt have only presented us fabric cloth materials, and because Hot Toys have been around for a while, they're kind of used to the structure of how to do superhero suits with padding and different textures and materials in compared to InArt. So I would like to see their Batman figure that they were supposed to release, and I think that might be why they kind of postponed it. I think something might have happened with the suit itself where they weren't ready to reveal it yet. Because again, these are very... Don't get me wrong, these all three of the figures they've shown are top-notch figures, but these are fabric materials, so they're very, very easy to manufacture and make, in compared to something like the DX19 I have here. By the way, if you guys want to check that out, I'll link that in the description. Stuff like that, I don't know if InArt can pull off yet, and I think that's why they've postponed Battinson's, the figure that they were supposed to make. But yeah, this looks really nice. I don't know if it's just me though, or is the weathering changed here? Because if I scroll back really quickly to this one, is the weathering different? Because it looks... Let me go back to that one. It looks a touch bit cleaner here, so hopefully they do like the other picture with the really dirty, disgusting look on the collar. Hopefully they go that route. Although I will say this is more dirty and weathered more than the Hot Toys one, even like this. Yeah, this looks really nice. So does he only have one werewolf hand? I haven't seen the other hand have the werewolf hand. It just looks like it's the right hand that has it. Which that would be shit. Why would they do that? Maybe they just haven't displayed it yet. Okay, so this is pretty much reminiscent of one of the statues, I think, released. It may have been Queen itself. Their statue of Pennywise like this lunging. But yeah, this is nice, displaying that it can pose. Obviously, it's a fabric figure. You would expect it to pose this good. Obviously, of course, you got to have the meme dance that Pennywise done. If I get this, which I'm pretty certain I will, my one will probably be posed like this. And I love that we've got a different display base here in compared to the Hot Toys one. So you can have the other one displayed with the sewer like I have behind me. And you got this one from part 1 doing this weird dance move. So I really like that InArt didn't fully rip off Hot Toys with their design. Okay, so this is what it comes with. And I might move myself. I'll start with this first. So it looks like here we've got... Is this paper backdrops for that? I think it is. It might be paper backdrops. Although I didn't see paper on the list of what's included. So these might be wood printed. That would be insane if this is the wood part that they were talking about that goes behind the stage. I would probably go for this. I'll probably go for this one, because I think this is the backdrop that he had when he was doing that weird dance. This is obviously the room where you got the other clowns and you got the Easter egg of Tim Curry's version, which hopefully InArt make a Tim Curry version. I would love if they do that. But it looks like you've got the map here. I think this is from the 90s show, right? Or maybe it can't be this one. I think one of them's from the Tim Curry show, they said. So you got closed fists, you've got ambidextrous hands for the balloon, you got one pointer finger. So you only have one werewolf hand. That's disappointing. I think that's pretty disappointing. Why would they only have one? And yes, I know the right arm in the whale house scene is the arm that transformed. Where we get that close-up shot when he steps out of the fridge and does kind of the weird twist. I'm pretty sure it is the right hand. But just give us both. That's kind of disappointing. But obviously we get maps here, which I think one of them is from the 90s series. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, I think this one's from the 90s TV series. Then you obviously got the balloon. I would assume it's the same make that Hot Toys did with the acrylic plastic, the metal rod with the fabric stitched or glued around it. So that's fine. I would have loved if it said I love dairy. But, you know, you can't get everything, I guess. Then you got the SS Georgie here. Again, I don't know if it's paper. I personally would probably prefer it not being paper. It's accurate being paper. Well, it's accurate being paper with a lacquer. So maybe they've done that. Maybe they've lacquered it. But you get that. Then obviously you get the two head sculpts here, which this is probably the one I will display with. Because I have my Hot Toys one displayed like this. And as of right now, obviously I don't have this one in hand to do a comparison. So far I might keep my Hot Toys Pennywise and just have this one displayed next to it. And actually, speaking of the base, lucky I got the base here. I actually want to know if this is real wood. This might be pretty heavy in terms of fitting in a D12. So I haven't obviously checked the listing as proper as I probably should have. So I don't know if they've given the weight of this base. Looking at it, I don't even know if you could fit this in a D12 actually. So this might be going in my Moji cases I'm ordering, that basically that bookshelf is getting torn apart and I'm putting Moji cases on the top. Maybe I would have to put that in the Moji cases that I'm getting. But overall, it's nice. Like, I can't complain. Like, I think accessory-wise is that maybe that's the negative. But maybe they add more as time goes, because the Gandalf figure, people complained, not negatively complained, mind you, it was more constructive criticism. They said, hey, you guys are missing a certain staff, and InArt thrown it in now, and they listen to the people. So maybe they start throwing more stuff into this one. Maybe we get Georgie's severed arm. Maybe we also get maybe we'll get a Georgie, who knows, if people ask for it. Maybe we get another werewolf hand to double up with. I'm trying to think, because this is part 1 and it clearly is going by that suit here. I want to see if they've missed anything specific from part 1 and not part 2. Other than the I Love Dairy balloon, I don't think they really missed out on anything from part 1. So what I'll do is go back to this one. So basically my overall final thoughts on this is, I do like this. Price wise, I think is a little bit iffy though. Iffy in terms of other collectors, I'll say. For me, I think it's fine for me, because again, I don't collect Marvel, I don't collect Star Wars. I've purposely strayed away from those properties, especially Star Wars. I've strayed away from them. I don't even collect DC that much. The only DC character I collect is Batman. I'm more a here and there collector, if that makes sense. Like, I collect Batman is my number one collectible I've got, with horror obviously as well. But then I'll get like once-off stuff, like I've got Marty there. I'm going to get Doc from part 1 and 3 as well. Marty from part 1 and 3. Hopefully they remake the part 2 ones, so I'd get them as well. But I'm more of, I guess you could say, a cult classic collector. So obviously this price tag isn't going to be that big and heavy on my shoulders, because I don't collect everything that Hot Toys make. And for someone that does do that, for someone that has to collect all Star Wars figures, this is obviously going to be a punch in the face, because this is a massive price tag. But I do think, for what we've been shown here, it is worth it, because again, a custom rooted hair from a customizer who will give us 10 out of 10 perfection like this, you're expecting $2,000, if not more, for just the head sculpt, rooted hair, and maybe movable eyes. You're looking $2K for a professionally done rooted hair. And with this, you're getting, I think it's 500 USD. I'm pretty sure it is, because here in Australia, it's converted to 700 AU. So I think personally that is fair for 2 rooted head sculpts that is done by a professional who has a great reputation. So again, I've got high hopes for this, and hopefully it does nail and is as good as what these promo picks are. But again, that's pretty much it. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. If you guys also want to check out my DX19 unboxing and review, I'll link that in the description and in the end cards. You know, I would appreciate if you guys do that. Other than that, if you did enjoy this, make sure to like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.